happen to a guy like me?
For a long time, Power Legacy felt like one of those ideas that sounded too big to actually happen. But now, after the latest updates and that unexpected trailer reveal, it's starting to feel very real, and honestly a lot more dangerous than anyone expected. Because this isn't just another chapter in the Power universe. This might be the one that changes everything. The moment the Power Legacy trailer dropped, it didn't just tease a continuation. It hinted at a complete shift in direction. You can feel it almost immediately. The tone is heavier, more intense, and way more unpredictable than what we've seen before. This isn't about building power anymore. It's about surviving what comes after it. And that difference is important. Because when you really think about it, every major character left standing has already been through war. They've lost people, they've made impossible choices, and now they're stepping into a world where those past decisions are finally catching up to them. That's the energy this trailer brings. It's not loud or flashy for no reason. It's tense, like something is about to go wrong at any moment. And then there's the biggest shift of all, the new cast. This is where things start to get really interesting. Because introducing new characters into a universe like this isn't easy. People are used to certain faces, certain dynamics, certain power structures. But from what we're seeing so far, these new additions aren't just side players, they're going to matter a lot. Some of them seem connected to the past in ways that haven't been fully revealed yet, while others feel like completely fresh threats. People who don't care about the old rules, the old alliances, or the old respect. And that's what makes them dangerous. Because when someone steps into this world without fear or history holding them back, they don't play the game the same way. They change it. At the same time, the trailer quietly suggests that the balance of power we've known is gone. Completely gone. The streets don't feel controlled anymore. There's no clear leader. No single force holding everything together. It's fragmented. Messy. And honestly, that kind of chaos creates opportunities, but it also creates enemies from every direction. You can see it in the way characters move, the way conversations feel more tense, more calculated. Nobody trusts anyone anymore. And in a world like this, that's when things start to fall apart fast. What really stands out, though, is how personal everything feels this time. It's not just about territory or money. There's a deeper layer building here. Revenge, unfinished business, and consequences that were left behind. The trailer doesn't explain everything, but it gives just enough to make you realize that some stories were never truly finished. And now they're coming back in ways no one is ready for. That's what makes this so different. It's not just a continuation. It feels like a collision of past and present, all happening at once. And if you look closely, there's this constant sense that something bigger is being set up. Like this is only the beginning of a much larger game. The kind where every move matters and one wrong decision could take everything down. Because in Power Legacy, it doesn't feel like anyone is safe anymore. Not the old players, not the new ones, no one. And that's exactly why this trailer works so well. It doesn't give you answers, it gives you tension. It builds questions. It makes you wonder who's really in control, and who's about to lose it all. As soon as you start looking deeper into what Power Legacy is setting up, one thing becomes very clear. This story isn't going to follow the same rules as before. Because the moment new players step into a broken system, the entire game changes. And that's exactly what this new cast is bringing into the Power universe. They're not here to fit in, they're here to take over. What makes this even more interesting is how unpredictable these new characters already feel. Usually, in a story like this, you can kind of tell who's going to rise, who's going to fall, and who's just there to support the main players. But here it's not that simple. The trailer gives off this energy where anyone could become a major threat at any moment. Some of these characters look calm, controlled, and strategic. But that's usually the most dangerous type. The ones who don't talk too much, the ones who observe everything. They're the ones who strike when nobody sees it coming. And at the same time, there are others who seem more aggressive, more direct, the kind of people who don't wait for the perfect moment, they create it. And when you put those different personalities into the same space, things don't stay balanced for long. Because in the Power universe, power isn't shared. It's taken. And every new face that steps into this world is either going to fight for control, or become part of someone else's plan. There's no middle ground. That's what makes this setup so intense. It's not just about introducing new characters. It's about throwing them into a battlefield where alliances don't last, trust is temporary, and every decision comes with a cost. At the same time, you can feel that some of these new characters are not as disconnected from the past as they seem. There are hints, small ones, but enough to suggest that certain connections go deeper than what we're being shown right now. And if that turns out to be true, then we're not just dealing with new threats, we're dealing with hidden ones. The kind that have been building in the background for a long time, waiting for the right moment to step forward. And if Power Legacy is really going in that direction, then this could easily become one of the most complex storylines we've seen in the franchise. But here's where things get even more complicated. Because it's not just the new cast changing the game. It's how the old players are going to react to them. Because let's be honest, people who have already built their power aren't just going to step aside and let someone new take it. That's not how this world works. If anything, the arrival of new players is going to push the existing ones to become even more aggressive, more protective, and honestly more dangerous. Because when someone feels like they're about to lose control, they don't play safe, they do whatever it takes to keep it. And that's where the real tension starts to build. Because now it's not just about who's strong. It's about who adapts faster. The new characters are coming in with fresh strategies, no emotional attachments, and nothing to lose. But the old players? They have history. They have relationships. And sometimes that becomes a weakness. Because in a world where loyalty can be used against you, having something to protect can be the very thing that puts you at risk. You can already feel that clash building just from the trailer. It's subtle, but it's there. The way scenes are cut, the way characters look at each other, the silence between conversations, it all points to one thing. Conflict is coming, and it's not going to be simple. This isn't going to be one side versus another. It's going to be multiple players, multiple agendas, all colliding at the same time. And honestly, that's what makes Power Legacy feel so different. It's not just continuing the story. It's expanding it in a way that makes everything more unstable, more unpredictable. Because when you mix new ambition with old power, something is always going to break. But if there's one thing that really stands out from everything we've seen so far, it's how Power Legacy is bringing the story back to something much deeper than just power moves and street control. Because underneath all the strategy, all the new faces, and all the tension, this story is starting to feel personal again. And that's where things become truly dangerous. You can already sense that the past is not done with these characters. Not even close. The trailer doesn't directly show everything, but it hints at unfinished business, situations that were never fully resolved, decisions that were buried but never forgotten. And in a world like this, the past doesn't just disappear. It waits. It builds. And then it comes back at the worst possible moment. That's exactly the kind of energy Power Legacy is building right now. Because when you really think about it, most of the characters connected to this universe are carrying something heavy with them. Regret, betrayal, loss, things that don't just go away over time. And when those emotions start mixing with power and ambition, they don't stay controlled for long. They explode. That's what makes this setup so intense. It's not just about who wants control, it's about who has something to prove, who has something to fix, and who's still holding on to anger that never got a proper ending. And the trailer makes it clear that some relationships are going to be pushed to their limits. Trust is already fragile in this world, but now it feels like it's completely breaking down. People who once stood on the same side might not be able to do that anymore. And that shift, that's where the real tension comes from. Because it's one thing to go up against an enemy. It's something else entirely when the threat comes from someone you once trusted. At the same time, there's this growing sense that certain characters are being forced into situations they didn't expect. Like the game is moving faster than they can control. And when that happens, people make mistakes. They react instead of planning. They choose survival over loyalty. And in the Power universe, one wrong move doesn't just cost you power. It can cost you everything. That's the kind of pressure this story is building. What makes it even more interesting is how the trailer seems to blur the line between right and wrong even more than before. There's no clear side to root for anymore. Everyone feels like they're operating in that gray area, where every decision has consequences and every victory comes with a price. And honestly, that makes the story feel more real. Because nobody in this world is completely clean. And nobody is completely safe either. And then there's that quiet feeling that something bigger is still being hidden. Like the trailer is only showing us part of the picture. There are moments that feel intentionally cut short, conversations that seem incomplete, and reactions that don't fully make sense yet. And that usually means one thing: there's a twist coming. The kind that changes how you see everything that came before it. Because Power, Legacy doesn't feel like it's just building tension for the sake of it. Feels like it's setting up something major. Something that's going to connect all these characters, all these stories, into one moment where everything collides. And when that happens, it's not going to be controlled. It's going to be messy, emotional, and probably impossible to stop. And honestly, that's what makes this part of the story so powerful. It's not just about who's going to win. It's about what they're willing to lose to get there. And just when it feels like things couldn't get any more intense, Power, Legacy starts hinting at something even bigger. Something that could completely shift the entire Power universe in a way we haven't seen before. Because this isn't just about new characters or unfinished stories anymore. It's about the possibility of returns. The kind of returns that change everything. Now, nothing has been officially confirmed yet, but if you've been paying attention to the updates, the casting movements, and the small details hidden in the trailer, you can tell that something is being set up very carefully. There are names being talked about again. Faces that were once considered gone, now slowly finding their way back into the conversation. And in a franchise like this, that's never random. It always means something. Because let's be honest, the Power universe has always played with the idea that no story is ever truly finished. Characters disappear, stories pause, but somehow they always find a way to come back when it matters the most. And if Power, Legacy is really leaning into that idea, then we might be looking at one of the most unexpected comebacks in the entire franchise. But here's where things get complicated. Because bringing someone back isn't just about shock value. It changes the entire dynamic of the story. It forces every character to react, to adjust, and sometimes to choose sides. And that's where things start to break. Because if a major character returns, especially someone with deep history, it's not going to be a simple reunion. It's going to reopen old wounds, old rivalries, and old loyalties that were never fully resolved. And you can already imagine what that would do to the current balance. The new players are trying to build something for themselves. The existing characters are trying to hold on to what they have. And then suddenly someone from the past steps in. Someone who already understands the game better than anyone else. That kind of presence doesn't just fit into the story, it takes control of it. At the same time, there's this growing feeling that not everyone is ready for that kind of return. Because the world has changed. The rules are different now. And even the strongest characters might not have the same power they once had. So if someone does come back, they won't just be stepping into their old role. They'll have to fight for it all over again. And that's what makes it even more intense. Because now, it's not just about reclaiming power, it's about proving that they still deserve it. And then there's the emotional side of it, which might be the most dangerous part of all. Because when people from the past return, they don't just bring power with them. They bring memories, regret, loyalty, betrayal. All the things that characters have been trying to move on from suddenly come rushing back. And in a world where emotions can be used as weaknesses, that creates a completely different kind of conflict. One that isn't just physical. It's personal. You can already feel that tension building just from the way the trailer is structured. It doesn't show everything directly, but it leaves enough clues to make you question what's really coming. Certain lines feel loaded. Certain moments feel like they're hiding something bigger. And that's usually a sign that the story is about to take a turn that no one is fully prepared for. Because if Power, Legacy actually goes in this direction, then this won't just be another continuation. It'll be a turning point. The kind where everything we thought we understood about these characters gets tested again. And in that kind of situation, nobody comes out unchanged. And when you put all of this together, the new cast, the shifting power, the personal stakes, and the possibility of major returns, one thing becomes very clear. Power, Legacy isn't just building toward a story. It's building toward a moment. The kind of moment where everything finally comes together. And at the same time, everything starts to fall apart. Because if there's one thing the Power universe has always done well, it's showing how quickly control can disappear. One minute, everything feels calculated, structured, under control. And the next, it's chaos. And that's exactly the kind of energy this new chapter is giving off. It feels like everyone is moving with a plan right now, but deep down you can tell those plans aren't going to hold for long. The closer we get to the release, the more it feels like Power, Legacy is setting up multiple storylines that are all heading toward the